I know gold is not in her. She's a diamond.
Hello again everyone, here's another video from another YouTube comment. I'm doing these bite-sized videos for you to maybe work with or try to see how you get on with it. So please remember, this is not a teaching as such. You'll have to come to a class or the mentoring or down at the schools that I work in to get the full experience of the teaching, but to help you along the way at the moment, just to sort of get past the hurdle that you find yourself upon. And I had a question with two communicators. What do I do? How do I control it? Where do I go? I keep getting it muddled up. And so the problem that we have with this one is that firstly we need to be able to recognize that we've got two communicators, and a lot of the time this will be where the medium starts to their energy will start to plummet, because you might say, I've got a lady here and I feel that it's mum or mother-in-law, something like that. And by doing that, by making that statement, you've almost invited mum to come into the mind and then mother-in-law to come into the mind. And so then you'll say, I'm aware that they passed around the age of 60, just as an open ballpark figure there, and they both may have passed at like 60 and 63, and so both of them will still be within the mind there. They both die of cancer. They've both got a loving humour. They both like baking cakes, and they both love their home. They both enjoy walks in the park. They both live near hills. They both enjoy doing everything themselves. They're both stubborn. They're both independent. You get where I'm going with it, don't you? So both at all times is very difficult. And so what we need to establish very quickly is how we place the statement out. It's either mum or mother-in-law, and we need to do that in the mind. So who are you? What are you about? What's your story? Within the mind, and then we have to make it work that way. However, they are not identical, and there will be a difference in their story somewhere. So we've already said maybe 10 statements there, and 10 out of 10 are the same. But there might be one that goes, I love watching the football, and the other one hates watching football. Bad example, but stay with me. And so what will happen is that you will recognise immediately, this one loves football, but I do feel that I don't like football. So there's your separation. Now, in the early stages, I'm used to the energy being different, so I can sort of work them simultaneously if I choose to work with both of them. It's not so much now. But if I choose to, then I can edge mum in, and then I can ask mum to step back, and then I can edge mother-in-law in, then step her back, and we can use it in this kind of scenario. Or I can say, I need the information to come in from the right here from mum, and from the left from mother-in-law, and that way I know where I need to place it. So your mum makes me aware that you would take her shopping Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just to get her out the house and do the chores. And it's on the right, so that's where I got it. Whereas you'd go and visit your mother-in-law once a week, because that come in from the left. So I know where I'm placing my statement now in that scenario. So now you can replace mum and mother-in-law with mum and dad, and the separation is quite simple. Then I can edge mum in, or I can edge dad in. I need you on the right, I need you on the left. However, it gets a little bit unprofessional. If it's not done correctly, it can look a little bit wobbly. It can be a little bit there's no depth to it, no story of unfoldment, unless their stories are together. So it's much easier to do the story of a combined couple, mum and dad, husband, wife, and combine their story and deliver it as one. That's much better. It comes across much more professional. However, it don't look so good when you're doing mum, mother-in-law, mum, mother-in-law, and the story doesn't really seem to unfold. So be mindful of that, and don't feel bad for taking control of your mediumship. You know, it's one of those scenarios that if it's mum and she had a wonderful relationship with mum, then ask mother-in-law to step out and just say, that I'm going to work with mum's story. You can maybe introduce the second one a little bit later on. Again, that's down to personal preference or entirely up to you, but remember the time frames, remember the disciplines that you need to have when you're working publicly. Equally, might not got on with mum. I actually got on better with my mother-in-law, who actually acted more like my mum. So ask mum to step out and work with the mother-in-law in that aspect. Now there's so many scenarios here, and what I'm trying to give you is this discipline of mind. Don't let it wobble around. Don't let the client take control of the communication either. It may be that you're working with mum, but the client understands it as mother-in-law. If you are 100% certain, you know, or as certain as you can be, right up there in the percentage wise, that and you're say, and you know it's mum, and you say mum, and it's this and it's that, and everything's mum, 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 but the client goes, well, I can still understand that with mother-in-law and my mum, then take control of your mediumship, take control of the communication, and say, I know that this is your mum. So every statement I give you now, if it does not sit well with mum, then just say no to me. Just say I don't know that information, or no, that is incorrect. And I will go back to mum and clear that up. And what that will do naturally is, if I have to there, mother-in-law will step away, because I'm giving control. I'm taking back the control of the communication as the medium, not letting the client rule it for me, and not letting my mind wobble between two different communicators. So it's about the disciplines also. You do need to remember that, as that is going to be a big factor when two communicators turn up. There may be a story that unfolds why we have two, or what's going on with two, but there are a lot of the time it's the lack of discipline within the medium's mind that has done that. I recently went to one where someone went out with, I have your mum, your dad and your son here, and then spent the next 10 minutes talking about dad, quickly threw in mum, no mention of son, and spoke only of the grandfather clock that dad had done. And yet the lady in the audience was there for her son. It was about her son. And you've got to kind of, who did that? Why did that work in that way? And that's got to be the discipline of the mind that's happened there. That's made that work in that way, if that makes sense. So get disciplines in place. Understand the story that's unfolding for the beneficial or the benefits for the person that you are working for. And that is how you will deal with multiple communicators. So again, thanks for watching. Remember, like, subscribe and share. Remember to hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of upcoming videos, and remember that the subscribe button costs absolutely nothing. It's not like you have to sign up for a fee or anything like that. It's simply just to be informed that I'm uploading a video, and the notifications will let you know, that little bell will let you know when that video has gone on. So thanks for watching. Speak to you later.